The White Eagles fight for survival, a story of strength, struggle, and redemption. The birth of a king high in the jagged cliffs of the northern mountains, where the wind howled like an ancient beast, a white eagle egg lay nestled in a precarious nest, balanced on the edge of the world. The egg, fragile yet full of life, held the destiny of a king, a warrior of the skies. One stormy night under the crackling lightning, the shell began to break. A tiny beak pierced through, struggling to escape the darkness. With each desperate push, the cracks widened until, finally, a small, white-feathered chick emerged into the cold, merciless world. But survival was never promised. The white eagle named Azar was different. His feathers, unlike the brown and golden eagles of his kind, shimmered in pure white, an omen of both greatness and tragedy. From the moment he hatched, he was tested. His mother, fierce and protective, hunted tirelessly to feed her young. But danger lurked everywhere. Rival eagles sought to destroy the young chick before he could grow strong. Storms battered their nest, threatening to send it crashing into the abyss. And worst of all, the cruel law of nature dictated that only the strongest would survive. One fateful day, as Azar's feathers grew stronger, his mother never returned. She had fallen in a battle with a wolf while hunting, alone, hungry, and trembling against the freezing wind. The young eagle had only two choices: give in to death or fight for life, and he chose to fight. The warrior of the skies. From the moment Azar took his first flight, the sky became both his sanctuary and his battlefield. He learned to hunt by watching the shadows. He observed the movements of rabbits, the flickering tails of fish in the rivers, the moment of hesitation before a snake struck. And then he would dive, his talons slicing through the air like blades. But each hunt came with danger. Wolves lunged at him from below. Falcons and hawks saw him as a threat. The mountain winds tried to rip him from the sky. Yet Azar thrived. He became a legend in the skies, a ghost that soared above the clouds, feared and respected. But fate had one final test for him: the silent enemy. As the years passed, Azar ruled his domain, but something was wrong. At first, it was just an itch, a discomfort near his wings. Then the irritation spread. He felt weaker, slower. His once powerful dives became sluggish, his vision blurred. And the worst part, his magnificent white feathers, once as pure as the snow, were now infested with millions of tiny parasites. Fleas, mites, blood-sucking creatures that multiplied by the thousands, feeding on him, draining his strength. Azar, the king of the skies, was falling. He tried everything, diving into rivers, rubbing against the rocks, even flying into storms to shake them off. But the parasites only spread further. His wings became heavy, his body frail. Every flight was agony. One day he collapsed. His body, once strong and powerful, now lay motionless on a frozen cliff. His breath was shallow, his once sharp eyes closed. It was the end, or so he thought. The last hope, a race against time. Fate had one final twist. A wildlife rescue team patrolling the mountains spotted a strange sight. A fallen eagle, its white feathers dulled, barely breathing. They knew they had little time. With careful hands, they wrapped Azar in a protective blanket and rushed him to the sanctuary. The moment they examined him, their worst fears were confirmed. His body was overrun with millions of fleas, ticks, and mites, each one feeding on him like an unstoppable plague. The fight for Azar's life had just begun. For days, the team worked tirelessly. They bathed him in medicinal waters, removed the parasites one by one, treated the infections that had nearly claimed his wings. But the worst damage was inside. His spirit was broken. Would he ever fly again? The team refused to give up. They fed him, spoke to him, let him feel the wind again. And then, after weeks of struggle, something changed. Azar opened his eyes. A fire burned within them. And on a bright, windy morning, the team gathered outside, holding their breath. With every ounce of strength, Azar spread his wings. The wind roared through his feathers. He leapt, stumbling at first, then rising. Higher, faster, stronger. And then, like an eagle reborn, he flew away. The white eagle had returned. And as he disappeared into the golden sky, his legend would live on. A warrior who had faced death, fought the impossible, and rose once more. They are meant to fly,